Good afternoon, Bobcats. 8th grade Bobcats, Mr. Flato here. Welcome back to what I hope will be another great week for you at the Helena Middle School. On today's Bob lesson, we're going to work on part 2, piggybacking on from last week on a motivational speaker guy that was doing an interview talking about millennials, your guys' generation, or even the generation maybe a little older than you guys right now, and 4 things that he's seeing in the workplace to where society and how society has changed is kind of setting young people up for failure in the real world. And again, my premise with showing this isn't saying this is absolute. This is just putting ideas out there and then having you critically think on it. So the first 2 part was from last week was building authentic self-esteem and then technology. And this next part today deals more with technology as well. Specifically, this first part that I'm going to talk about with this technology and these things and what it's created is instant gratification. Everything happens way quicker. Back in the day, if I had a question on the population of Seattle, Washington, super random, you'd have to go to an encyclopedia, look it up, and that would take some time. Now you get on your phone and you can get that information right away. And so it's really conditioned us as human beings, not only you guys, but us as adults. Everything's instant gratification now. Technology has made our lives easier in a way, but it's also set us up for failure when we're used to getting everything right away. Likes on social media, information right now, communication right now. That's not transforming or ascending over to the workplace where we don't get instant gratification. I have a friend right now that I've mentored that's 22 years old, and he just graduated college, and now he's trying to figure it out. And it's like I told him, hey, you're not going to come out and get your perfect dream job right out the gate. You may not get a job that fulfills all your values like we talked about before, or all your interests. It takes time now to build it. And when we're so used to an instant gratification world here, and then we get in the real world, okay, it's not overly congruent. One of the messages I want you guys to take from this first segment is all things with true value, whether it's work satisfaction, job satisfaction, relationship satisfaction, it takes time. Anything with true value takes time. Let's get rock and rolling and on this first part.
So you have a generation growing up with lower self-esteem that doesn't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress, right? Now you add in the sense of impatience. Right? They've grown up in a world of instant gratification. You want to buy something, you go on Amazon, it arrives the next day. You want to watch a movie? Log on and watch a movie. You don't check movie times. You want to watch a TV show? Binge. You don't even have to wait week to week to week. Right? I know people who skip seasons just so they can binge at the end of the season. Right? Instant gratification. You want to go on a date? You don't even have to learn how to be like, hey. You don't even have to learn and practice that skill. You don't have to be the uncomfortable one who says yes when you mean no and says no when you mean no, but yes when you... You don't have to swipe right. Bang, I'm a stud. Right? You don't have to learn the social coping mechanisms. Right? Everything you want, you can have instantaneously. Everything you want, instant gratification. Except job satisfaction and strength of relationships, there ain't no app for that. They are slow, meandering, uncomfortable, messy processes. And so I keep meeting these wonderful, fantastic, idealistic, hardworking, smart kids. They've just graduated school. They're in their entry-level job. And I sit down with them and I go, how's it going? They go, I think I'm going to quit. I'm like, why? They're like, I'm not making an impact. I'm like, you've been here 8 months. You know? It's as if they're standing at the foot of a mountain and they have this abstract concept called impact that they want to have in the world, which is the summit. What they don't see is the mountain. I don't care if you go up the mountain quickly or slowly, but there's still a mountain. And so what this young generation needs to learn is patience. That some things that really, really matter, like love, or job fulfillment, joy, love of life, self-confidence, a skill set, any of these things, all of these things take time. Sometimes you can expedite pieces of it, but the overall journey is arduous and long and difficult. And if you don't ask for help and learn that skill set, you will fall off the mountain. Or you will, the worst case scenario, and we're already seeing it, the worst case scenario is we're seeing an increase in suicide rates, We're seeing an increase in this generation. We're seeing an increase in accidental deaths due to drug overdoses. We're seeing more and more kids drop out of school or take leaves of absence due to depression. Unheard of. This is really bad. The best case scenario, those are all bad cases, right? The best case scenario is you'll have an entire population growing up and going through life and just never really finding joy. They'll never really find deep fulfillment in work or in life. They'll just waft through life, and it'll be just, it's fine. How's your job? It's fine. It's the same as yesterday. How's your relationship? It's fine. Like, that's the best case scenario.
All right, and this fourth last part talks about the environment that a lot of these corporations and work environments are. They're so different from school. One of the reasons that we have the cell phone policy that this gentleman is going to talk about is so many times we're so dialed into this instead of having the ability to build real relationships. I see this every morning when I come in the cafeteria. Undoubtedly, you've got a few people visiting, but most people are doing this. When you get out in the real world, you have to be able to have real face-to-face interactions to be successful in the workplace. So let's get going on this last part. Hope you guys enjoyed this series.
Which leads me to the fourth point, which is environment. Which is we're taking this amazing group of young, fantastic kids who were just dealt a bad hand. It's no fault of their own. And we put them in corporate environments that care more about the numbers than they do about the kids. They care more about the short-term gains than the long-term life of this young human being. We care more about the year than the lifetime, right? And so we are putting them in corporate environments that aren't helping them build their confidence, that aren't helping them learn the skills of cooperation, that aren't helping them overcome the challenges of a digital world and finding more balance, that isn't helping them overcome the need to have instant gratification and teach them the joys and impact and the fulfillment you get from working hard on something for a long time that cannot be done in a month or even in a year. And so we're thrusting to them in corporate environments, and the worst part about it is they think it's them. They blame themselves. They think it's them who can't deal. And so it makes it all worse. It's not. I'm here to tell them it's not them. It's the corporations. It's the corporate environments. It's the total lack of good leadership in our world today that is making them feel the way they do. They were dealt a bad hand, and I hate to say it, but it's the company's responsibility. Sucks to be you. Like, we have no choice, right? This is what we got, and I wish that society and their parents did a better job. They didn't. So we're getting them in our companies, and we now have to pick up the slack. We have to work extra hard to figure out the ways that we build their confidence. We have to work extra hard to find ways to teach them the social skills that they're missing out on. There should be no cell phones in conference rooms. None. Zero. And I don't mean the kind of like sitting outside waiting to text. I mean, like, when you're sitting and waiting for a meeting to start, this is what we all do. We all sit here and wait for the meeting to start. Meeting starting? Okay. We start the meeting. No, that's not how relationships are formed. Remember we talked about it's the little things? Relationships are formed this way. We're waiting for a meeting to start and we go, how's your dad? I heard he was in the hospital. Oh, he's really good. Thanks for asking. He's actually at home now. Oh, I'm really glad. That was really amazing. I know, it was really scary for him. That's how you form relationships. Hey, did you ever get that report done? Oh my God, no, I didn't. I'll help you out. Can I help you out with that? Really? That's how trust forms. Trust doesn't form at an event in a day. Even bad times don't form trust immediately. It's the slow, steady consistency. And we have to create mechanisms where we allow for those little innocuous interactions to happen. But when we allow cell phones in conference rooms, we just, okay, have the meeting. And then my favorite is like when there's a cell phone there, and you go like this, you go. It rings, and you go. I'm not going to answer that. Like, Mr. Magnanimous, you know? When you're out for dinner with your friends, like, I do this with my friends. When we're going out for dinner and we're leaving together, we'll leave our cell phones at home. Who are we calling? Maybe one of us will bring a phone in case we need to call an Uber or take a picture of our meal.
Goes without saying, come on.
I mean, I'm an idealist, but I'm not insane. You know?
Not a heathen.
I mean, it looked really good. We'll take one phone. And so it's like an alcoholic. The reason you take the alcohol out of the house is because we cannot trust our willpower. We're just not strong enough. But when you remove the temptation, it actually makes it a lot easier. And so when you just say, don't check your phone, people literally will go like this. And somebody will go to the bathroom, and what's the first thing we do? Because I wouldn't want to look around the restaurant for a minute and a half, you know? But if you don't have the phone, you just kind of enjoy the world. And that's where ideas happen. The constant engagement is not where you have innovation and ideas. Ideas happen when our minds wander and we go, and you see something, I bet they could do that. That's called innovation, right? But we're taking away all those little moments, right? You should not, and none of us should charge our phones by our beds. We should be charging our phones in the living rooms, right? Remove the temptation. You wake up in the middle of the night because you can't sleep, you won't check your phone, which makes it worse. But if it's in the living room, it's relaxed, it's fine. But it's my alarm clock. Buy an alarm clock. They cost $8. Right? I'll buy you an alarm clock.
This week's Jellybean Question of the Week winners are Anna Sanchez, Taya Munden, and Broadwood Manzi, I suppose, ladies. Andrew Fields, Garrett Hine, and Peter Lashinsky. The answer to last week's Jellybean Question of the Week was roommates, of course. This week's Jellybean Question of the Week is, I start with the letter M and end with X and have never-ending amount of letters. What am I? If you think you know, submit your answer to the Bob Box no later than Friday. Tune in next week to see if you are a winner. All right, Bobcats, let's make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.